Hello everyone, this week's Parsha is Parsha Vayishlach, in which we read about the story of Dinah and the subsequent actions of the brothers of Dinah, Bnei Ya'akov, specifically Shimon and Levi, in the retaliation against Shechem, the son of Hamor, and the entire town of Shechem. Within the story, we'll analyze a couple of key points, and using the Ramban's explanation, we'll try and analyze the actions of the brothers, and hopefully we'll have some more clarity on the entire narrative. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to ask the question that Ramban asked, which is a two-pronged question within the narrative. And from there, we're going to reveal some, maybe perhaps lessons for us on how one should act and proper reactions to situations. Okay, the pasuk begins, "Vatetzei Dinah bat Leah asher yalda Yaakov lirot bivnot haaretz." That is how the story begins. And from there on, we know that Shechem is fond of Dinah, and in the subsequent actions of Shechem against Dinah, the brothers retaliate. So the Ramban asks a question with regard to the response of the brothers when Shechem and Hamor first come to Yaakov to ask in order that Shechem can betroth and marry Dinah. The brothers are said to respond, "Vayanu bnei Yaakov et Shechem bet Hamor aviv במרמה." Mirma generally means trickery, and the Ramban picks up on this. The Ramban asks the question, the first of two questions he will ask. The Ramban asks, how are Bnei Yaakov acting b'mirma? As well, the Ramban asks, it seems like Yaakov is involved in the plan as well, meaning that the trickery itself is something we can ask a question on. Then the Ramban writes that Yaakov was there, he was present, as Shem and Hamor came to speak to the Zaken, referring to Yaakov. Yaakov did not respond, the brothers responded in place of Yaakov. Though the question the Ramban asked is, if Yaakov knew about this trickery, how come Yaakov acted with anger against his sons, the brothers of Dinah, when their response was an act of retaliation against the inhabitants of Shechem? The Ramban asked these two questions, and now we're going to answer them quickly. The second question being, of course, how could the brothers act in this trickful manner? So the first question the Ramban is addressing is, wasn't Yaakov present? The Ramban remarks that Yaakov was indeed present, though what changed here was that perhaps Yaakov, the Ramban suggests, was aware of one plan the brothers suggested to him. The brothers suggested that they would go ahead and tell Shechem and Hamor to give a Brit Milah, to circumcise all the inhabitants of their town. That way they'd be able to steal back Dinah. Dinah was kept inside the palace of Shechem, the prince. In order to retrieve her, they had to have this covert operation together. Yaakov agreed to this plan, and that was the mirma that was being done. There was trickery. So that's how we could resolve, the Ramban writes, the first question. Though the second question of how could this trickery be done is one that warrants more discussion. The Ramban goes into further detail discussing how could Yaakov's sons go ahead and act in this, not only in a trickful manner, full of trickery, though in a sense also with a complete retaliation and spilling innocent blood. The Ramban analyzes this in a halachic stance, discussing different opinions and seeing, are Bnei Noach, other nations, really commanded to follow all these statutes? Perhaps there's a problem in the act that they took Dinah in all these situations the Ramban discusses, though what emerges perhaps more clearly throughout the Ramban's discussion is that Yaakov became angry with his own sons, when they diverged from the plan and had an inappropriate reaction perhaps. The Ramban writes that Yaakov was aware of the plan to give Brit Milah to all the inhabitants of Shechem, but Yaakov wasn't aware that this would go to such an extent that the inhabitants would be wiped out. Yaakov in the psukim itself questions the acts of his sons and says that you've made us seem as if we were enemies to the rest of the nations surrounding us. And it is really, the narrative here is showing Yaakov's response as being one of anger. They, in the words of Yaakov, Nivela Sapi Israel, they acted improperly. So the Ramban goes on and to discuss this further, though I think what will emerge for us with this will end is the lesson that there's always a proper response that every situation warrants. This situation, this story, is one that is tough to discuss. It's one full of this sense of a tragedy. And then she's snatched. She's simply taken away. And I think Yaakov perhaps is teaching us all a lesson in this parsha, that every situation warrants the proper response no matter what. And with every action, there is a reaction, and our actions have immediate repercussions. Yaakov is stressing this to his sons, teaching them the proper messages. And as the Ramban likes to write, these messages are messages for us all, that they are a message for the future generations of Bnei Yisrael. And hopefully we can all take this lesson of acting properly in every situation, no matter what situation we find ourselves, and have a great Shabbos.